Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. Hopefully you can hear me alright over my necessary fan. This is an Adventures with Plastic Crack video, and I'm going to be talking about Skipper head molds. Skipper's been around since 1964, so if I did my math right, that's 57 years. And she had the same face for 20 years, and then they started messing with it. And she had a good run from 87 to 95, which isn't really that long in comparison. And then they messed with her for the next several years, and then she's been the same since 2010. But the first one, 20 solid years of little bitty Skipper here. So this one's 9 inches tall. Straight arms and legs, a head that rotates side to side, no swivel. Twist and turn Skipper, which I don't have, would have a turnable waist that would move just back and forth like the head does. And then she's got straight arms that just go up and down. All right. And the twist and turn ones and the bendable leg ones had bendable legs, but I've got a straight body. This is a 1964 Skipper that I've redone. Her hair is kind of oxidized. It was originally a mousy brown, but I rerouted her with the exact same color that was sticking out of her head. And then when I pulled the hair out on the inside, it was mousy brown, so she has an oxidized medium brunette color. And she does have a little bit of lime green rooted into her head, and I tied it into a bow in place of where Skipper's headband would be. And I've got this contrasting color there, that lime green. And I'll explain why I did that with these Skippers later in the video. So, just a regular Skipper. This was a blonde one. I think I got these two together for $8. They were pretty tattered. This one I rerouted in this cat silk saran Color Magic yellow color, so it's supposed to match the blonde Color Magic Barbie. So this Skipper I did as a hybrid, and I painted her to look like a Japanese Skipper, so you can see the difference. This one had like a frosty, is that mint or blue? I can't remember. Like a frosty blue eyeshadow instead of the brown that Skipper, regular United States Skipper has. Let me focus these again. Camera's being difficult. To where they're in the same, because they won't go together very well. Because let me just take her off the stand. Maybe that'll be easier. Now I can get them closer together, so the camera won't be as wonky. Come down a little bit. Okay. Okay. So you notice on this fake Japan style Skipper that the eyes glance in the other direction, and they've got a large black eye with a notch in it. Now this one I painted a little tiny bit of a green eye color on. It's hard to see the way that I've done it, so she's a little bit of a combo doll because I added the green eyes. And then I have this non-original color, but it matches this Town Togs outfit really well. And she's got a little black hair headband. And I didn't really think it through because when I went and bought these outfits, they both have hats. And they were both expensive. This one was like $100 for this outfit. So, these are the original Skipper faces, and this is what a 1964 Skipper from Japan would sort of look like. Again, there'd be like a little notch in the black part, and it would go over a little tiny bit more. And this is what a generic Skipper that everybody else got would look like. And blonde, brunette, or Tahitian, and this is again the hybrid hair color. Okay, so they did a thing in 1976 where they had growing up Skipper, where if you turned her arm, she would get just a little bit taller, and she would get slight breasts. And they had Skipper with this face, and then they had Ginger, who was a brunette. I don't have either one of those dolls. And then in 76 in Europe, they had, I think it was Fun Time. It was, yeah, it might have been Fun Time, but it was basically a Malibu skipper with pale skin. They had, I don't have any Malibu skippers, I just have these original ones. It would essentially look like this. Hair color just a little bit more red, so they made a red-haired one and called that one Scooter with this skipper face. I don't have any Scooter dolls. They had a different head mold, and then Skipper had a little friend named Ricky too, and I don't have him either. Ricky was sort of reddish haired. He looked kind of like a little version of Alan. And Scooter had a different face, and she came also in blonde, brunette, or redhead. And then there was a bend leg version of her too. And she had the same body. So I don't have a Scooter either. I don't have that many gaps in my skipper collection. I don't have a live action skipper either. And there's an unusual sort of cartoony head that came out in '72 for Skipper's blonde friend, live action Fluff. And then in '74 they made kind of a dusty brunette tomboy version of it called Tiff. So Skipper's little lesbian friend Tiff, and then her other friend Fluff from the '70s. And they had a kind of, again, it was sort of cartoony looking, but I don't have one of those. They only made one of each of those dolls, so they're kind of obscure. They did make a gift set for Fluff, but I can't quite remember what it's called. It had like red and brown and white and little rickrack trim on it. I forgot what it's called though. Scooter had a gift set too. It's called Cuttin' Buttons. Okay, so after this they went 1985 they changed Skipper. Although in Europe she was still sold like this until 1988. Oh, I forgot about Super Teen Skipper. So I'm missing Super Teen Skipper, and I think this is the same body that she has. I'm not 100% sure because I don't have one. This is Hot Stuff Skipper. She's slightly taller. So original Skipper 9 inches tall. Hot Stuff Skipper is... Let me get her face in here. She is... If I can get her focused. Come on, Skipper, work with me here. Nope. Nope, still no. Maybe. It's probably about as good as she's gonna get. Her makeup is actually really high color. It's like hot, bright hot pink, and it's not showing up on the camera. I still feel like that's not quite all the way there. There we go. Okay. She has a swivel head, swivel shoulders with slightly bent arms, twist and turn, or a twistable waist. It's not swivel, and bendable legs. And she is 9.5 inches tall. So this body, I believe, they only used it a couple times, and this may or may not be the Super Teen Skipper body, but it's pretty close. It's roughly the torso is roughly like how the growing up Skipper torso would have come out, just to be a little bit taller. So this face wasn't used very much because they started in '85 and they changed Skipper again in '87. But this Hot Stuff Skipper face they used on Jewel Secret Skipper, which had this body, and then they had two short ones. They had 1985 Tropical Skipper with this face on the small body, on this body, and then they had 1987 Island Fun Skipper, and those two look pretty similar, and they have this face. I think those are the only four that I know of. So two 9.5 inches tall and two short ones. The two short ones, their hair is similar to this, and then Jewel Secret Skipper has like a golden perm. So in 87, they changed her body. They made it 10 inches tall. Now, mine has a wobbly head because I didn't get the right neck knob when I fixed her. This is, let me get her set up so I don't crush her hair. Those are different. Yeah, okay. So let me zoom this out without hopefully shutting it off. Okay. I think the 87 head mold didn't actually come out on any dolls until 88. Come on. I can't tell if the face is focused because, and where did my paint go? Oh, it's in front of me. Because the little square comes in on the camera that blocks off my view of the face. I think that's about... maybe. I think it's just the way her face is painted. So in 87, they had a skipper. She's a little bit taller. She has a fully swivel waist. Her legs have a flat joint that go up and down so she can sit. They're bendable. She's got the flat feet. And then she's got these swivel shoulders with slightly bent arms. So all the skippers have this body at this point. Even the cheap beach ones. It's not like with Barbie where they have a fancier superstar body for the more expensive Barbies and then the cheap PTR arms for the beach ones. So even the beach skipper has this fully jointed body. She's got a swivel head, and hers is a little loose because her neck knob broke and I patched it, and it's got this clip here because it's still floppy. So this is 1988. It was like a teen fun series of skippers. So they had this one, they had one that had like a golden perm with green eyes, and then they had a cheerleader who had, I still feel like that's not focused. They had a cheerleader who had like light brown, ashy blonde hair with a lot of white, like platinum streaks on it. And I always wanted the cheerleader. This one is Party Teen Skipper. I've restored her. Took me a long time. And her hair is styled in the style of the prototype. I had to reroute her. So approximately how the prototype hair was on the box image. And her... I think her hair was actually a little more yellow than this ash blonde, but it's fine. And the production doll had like a partial ponytail with like curls coming down underneath, but I like this hairstyle better from the prototype image. So she has kind of a fat cartoony head. And when I was... and I had a bunch of these, and I got rid of almost all of them. I had Pet Pal Skipper. Well, I still have my Sun Sensation Skipper. I had Pet Pal Skipper. What else did I have? Well, maybe I didn't get rid of all of them. I think I only had a couple. But yeah, I used to have Pet Pal Skipper too, 1992. So there's the Skipper. And... she didn't have any friends since 1979 when she had her boyfriend Scott, which I don't have. He has, he kind of looks a little bit like a junior version of Superstar Ken, but he had a curly rooted brown fro. And they only made him for the 1 year. So she didn't have any friends since 1979. And then in 1989, they made her friend Courtney. They also made Black Skipper this year, too. I don't have a Black Skipper in this face. Homecoming Queen Skipper and Black Skipper. Both gorgeous. And they didn't have a specific Skipper friend this whole time. It was always just Black Skipper. So she didn't have, her own individual friend name. But in 1989, they made her friend Courtney out of the same face. And, it goes back to when they made Ginger and Scooter in 1976, this trend of making skippers friends out of her same face. So this is 1989 Teen Time Courtney. This is a replacement for the one that I had when I was little. She's got the leg spots, that's typical. And she's kind of Latina. It wasn't explicit, but I mean, essentially she's Latina. She came with red glasses, but the this one I got new like in the box a couple years ago, and when I punched her glasses out of the little plastic sheet of accessories, I couldn't get them on her head. And on my old one, I could get her glasses on, so she looks kind of weird without them, but you can see her face better. So in the brunette. And then the blonde. This Skipper's a little unusual because she has lavender eyes. Most of them had blue eyes. Oh, I should have brought out the Sun Sensation one. Whatever. That's a custom doll. It's not really relevant. I should point out that from about 1972, all Skippers were blonde, except for a couple of like Japan and European editions. So the Skipper, the character, was blonde from about 1972 until 2010 exclusively, and the brunette was Courtney, and then the black one was Black Skipper. In 1995, they started messing with Skipper again. They kept this same fully jointed body with the little arms, that little hands there, semi-bent arms. They kept the exact same body, but they gave her a new face. And this 1995 Skipper is absolutely gorgeous. She looks a lot like Stacy, her little sister Stacy. And it's kind of... You can kind of tell when head molds were created based on how they are from decade to decade, because they'll all look pretty similar. Like, you can tell the ones that have been made since 2014 because they have similar styling. And the ones from the 80s tend to have, like, fatter heads. I think she's in focus. So this is Travelin' Sisters gift set Skipper. I used to have the Pizza Party Skipper and Pizza Party Courtney, and I got rid of them when my collection imploded, and I had the Sparkle Beach Skipper too. There's not that many. There's like maybe 10 of these that I can think of offhand. Again, really gorgeous as Courtney with the brown hair, and I think she had greenish eyes, if I'm not mistaken. And the same body here. The same 1987 body. So just for comparison here. Yeah, I wish I still had those other dolls because they're harder to find now. But I'll have to get them again. There was I just should point out that let me start another. In 1993 and in 1997, Disney came out with a little Peter Pan series. I used to have the Peter Pan and Peter Pan had the same body as her boyfriend Kevin from 1991. I never had any of him, but I wanted him. So Skipper's boyfriend, I don't know what Super Teen Scott's body was. He had superstar style bent arms. But the Peter Pan doll was, about the same size as Skipper, and Kevin used the 1977 Jimmy Osmond body. So it's basically, the standard Ken body with straight arms, but scaled down like an inch and a half. And so the Peter Pan set in 1993, they used this Skipper with this face as Tinkerbell and in blonde, like a lemony blonde, and then as Wendy with red hair. So the only red-haired one of this is the Wendy. And in 1997, they ran the Peter Pan set again, and they used this one for Tinkerbell, again, slightly different hair, and then they used this one for Wendy. So there's one redhead of this as Wendy, and there's one, there's a, like a black-haired one of this from like a 2001 set of like Barbie and Skipper in India that was an exclusive. So they're pretty rare, all told, these ones. In 1997, they completely redid Skipper, and instead of being 10 inches, they made her 11 inches. Man, she's taller, so I gotta go up a little bit. So she has a narrower face. She's more typical of 90s, late 90s dolls. This is extreme green Skipper. You can see she's still got a little green in her hair there. She came with those earrings. She has painted nails and jewelry. She's taller and skinnier. She's almost like Barbie. She's got these shanty style arms, and her legs are thinner, and she has partly angled feet, but she's got clickable legs. She has like a turn waist, but not a swivel one. So she has almost as much articulation, but again, not a swivelly waist. Because these ones have this really nice, so I didn't get in here. Oops. I can't take that off, but they have this fully like ratcheted swivel waist. Can get in it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. She could do hula. This one does not. This one goes back to less articulation. She's taller. She's skinnier. She was supposed to be 16. She had a teen Skipper in 1997, had to get a driver's license. And then she had her friend Courtney, again, who's still brunette. And then Black Skipper was finally given a name. She was called Nikki. And Nikki was stolen for Barbie for the Generation Girl line, and then continued to be Barbie's friend. I think, yeah, she's still Barbie's friend now. So Barbie stole Nikki, and she also stole Skipper's Headmolds because they use this on some specialty Barbies. And this one finally went out of use around, right, the Skipper line pretty much collapsed in the mid 2000s, and they had a couple of these come out in 2009 that were around then. Then they started using this head on a shorter body. So I don't know if they went back to this body or if they made a new one. Let's see what the date is on the 2010 Skipper body here. Yeah, it would have been a different body. That I don't have, but they put her back down on a shorter doll, so they probably went back to this 10-inch height, right around 2008, 2009. I had a couple of these. I don't think I was able to get a Nikki, but I had a Courtney, I had a Skipper, and then I think around 1999 they started making Courtney redhead. So she went from sort of Latina to maybe Latina, but basically like Irish redhead. But they still had Nikki. And I don't have my Courtney anymore. I got rid of her. I have this other Skipper, and I brought her out just to get a different hair texture. This is the I cut it. It used to be really long down to her ankles. But I've redone her a couple times, so she's trying to be like Japanese Francie now. But this is that same face. You can see how different it looks with when you change the paint on it. The fan blowing. This isn't really relevant. I just felt like sticking her in there for funsies. I'm gonna So after, and I don't have many dolls from the 2000s because it wasn't a very interesting. It's like a not a good time for me to be getting dolls. It's like in college and shit. So in 2010, come on, man. The fan is kicking my ass right now. They made this new skipper, and they changed her to brunette. So up until 2009, she was still blonde. And I don't know if there's any exceptions, but essentially every skipper since then has had color streaks in her hair. I have a Puppy Adventure gift set skipper like this, and she has blonde streaks like underneath, so it's hard to tell that she has any. Most of the ones now only have purple streaks in their hair, but throughout the 2010s, she came in a bunch of different colors, so there would be some with like different shades of pink and magenta and fuchsia and purple, and a couple with blue. I don't think I've seen any with green, but you know, I don't have a full catalog of that era yet. She came with Skipper as like a sister's concert set, and she has no waist articulation. Her legs are hard plastic. There's no knee articulation. Her hip joints go out at an angle though, but it doesn't, like, she does this weird spread leg thing when she sits, so she can't sit in a nice, oh, I guess she can sit kind of, well, she doesn't sit as nicely as the old dolls. She does have swivel shoulders, and a lot of the time, I noticed especially around 2011 or so, they started making a lot of dolls with one straight arm and one bent. So sort of standard. She looks kind of like Demi Lovato a little bit, or I don't know if she was active in 2010 because I don't care, but she also looks a little bit like Paris Jackson right around that time, right after her father died. When she was still like 12 or something. That's what this face kind of looks like to me. So all the skippers now are brunette. Barbie's sister skipper. I think she's supposed to be more like 14 now. It's like they went too far and then scaled it back. And then I guess for a long time she had lavender eyes. I don't know if there's any that have blue, but the newer ones have blue eyes. But this one, around 2015, she still has lavender eyes. Some of them have bangs. These ones have cell phones. So that's the 2010 skipper. Just sort of compare her to the most recent one before her, and then the most similar previous one, who is just a little bit shorter. So this one is 10 inches, and then 2010 skipper is 10.5 inches, and this one was 11. And then the original, I'm gonna do a scale thing here. And Hot Stuff skipper was 9.5. And then the original was 9. So Stacy is now the same size that Skipper used to be. Stacy's now 9 inches tall. You can wear her clothes. I should also point out though that these particular because these newer bodies are built very slim with smaller busts than the 2000, than the 87 and the 97, because she's flatter chested and slimmer all over, she can wear a lot of the 1964 skipper clothes. And I've got some of her friends in vintage Skipper clothes. So this has been Skipper since then. And they did the same thing with this Skipper that they did with this one. They stole her face for Barbie. So in the Fashionistas line, you will now see the Skipper face like this. So a lot of these dolls have brown eyes. A lot of them have unique hairstyles. There's a couple that have like shaved flocked sides like this. There's one that had platinum blonde with brown. There's one that has solid plastic here and then like a green mohawk on top. And there's a couple that are platinum blonde, and there's one that was curvy even. So because they're using this face for Fashionistas Barbie, but it's a Skipper face, I don't like to call this one Barbie. So because they don't name the dolls, I just go back into the history and pick names. So this one I'm calling Ginger after that 1976 friend. There's also one in the careers. There was a waitress that looked like this too. So there's a fashionista with the Skipper face. She's got a Barbie body, so she's quite a bit taller. And because they started using the 2010 Skipper face for the fashionistas, in 2015, I think the first one, or 16. I think 2015. It's hard to remember. It was like a redhead with a donut shirt. They came out with this Babysitter Skipper line in 2018. So they're still using the same body as this 2010 Skipper, but they gave her a new face. So this is the 2018 Skipper. It's basically the same face. They've just opened up her mouth so she has a broader smile now. And they're drawing her eyes on bigger, so she has blue eyes now. Makes her head look a lot bigger with that broad smile and the big eyes. It was right around 2017. It was exactly 2017 that they started drawing the eyes bigger on like Skipper and Stacy and Chelsea. I think they look better. This one actually, unusually, has two straight arms because she has a baby stroller with a toddler doll. So with the Babysitters line in 2018, they diversified Skipper. So they made 3 different versions of this face, essentially. Yeah. So they made this one, which they're using for the white and Latina dolls. So here's Skipper. And this is the Latina version. I don't know if all of the ones like this, because I've only seen one of them so far. I don't know if they all have a little mole there or not. She's a little bit darker skin. She's got brown eyes and brown hair without any streaks. It's a little bit ruddy, like red. Same body. And because they don't name them, they're just all called Skipper. I decided that this one's going to be Courtney. So, and she uses the exact same face as Skipper. And here's the other. Here's the actual labeled Courtney. You can see there's a progression going on here. I know I've shown these dolls before, but I'm focusing more on their faces than I was previously. I'm trying to get that. Ow! What the hell? I just had a thing fly into my ear. I hate moths. Son of a bitch. Disturbing my peace. I'm sure it had a message for me, but when don't shoot the messenger, but if you flap into my ear, Suffer my wrath. Okay. I hate moths so much. Okay. I'm gonna try to get this focused again. Okay. See. Okay. They do have swivel heads. They just have short necks, so it's harder to... It doesn't have quite as much range of motion as a taller neck knob Barbie would have, but she does have that swivel head. Hair is all staticky. Oh man, I still... my ear feels violated. They have a blonde, like sort of like a honey strawberry-ish blonde hair. Lighter skin. This one's got freckles. Again, this same face. So, and sort of golden eyes there. So this one I've decided is going to be Scooter. Pick up that old name. I mean, I haven't seen a blonde Skipper in like 10 years, but because Skipper is a brunette now, it's going to be Scooter. Her freckles are really light too, but she's pretty pale. There's one from 2019 that has bangs. I don't think that's in focus. Every time I try to fix it, it just gets worse. Okay. So those are all the same, those three. Like Patty Duke, and also Patty Duke. Just set these down. So they made a slightly altered version. And now, for the very first time ever on record, Skipper has an Asian friend. So the chin looks a little bit pointier. The face is slightly rounder here and comes in more like a little like rounded strawberry point shape. Her nose is just a little bit broader. And she actually looks a lot like the new Asian face in the Fashionistas line that came out in 2016, which was, at least on the styling head, was labeled Olivia. But she's also, I think she was Renee in something recently too. But this, so this Asian Skipper face is like a cross between that and this. She's so cute. So this one, I've redressed her, and she's wearing Skipper's 1965 or 66 dress, What's New at the Zoo, with this 1995 Stacy little jacket thing. So she's, again, she can wear these, the dresses come a little bit short for like a, you know, maybe a slightly knee-length dress, but she can get into them fine. It's just tight around the middle from the ribbon I had tied onto her, and she can also wear Skipper's original underwear. So these are from like 67 or something, these orange panties. So they can share those old clothes from the original. And there's another version of the Skipper face from 2018. And this is been tailored for Skipper's black friend. They also use it as Black Skipper. I don't think they've had any Black Skippers since the 2000s, at least, that I'm aware of. Oh, I also forgot something else too. Just sort of a quick interjection. They were using this face, the black version, aka Nikki, as Black Mage for the Happy Family sets. And then at the very end, they started using this with red hair as White Mage too. So they have this new face here. And oh, I should also point out that I used Skipper's friend Fluff. I stole her name for this girl, so she's Fluff. And then I stole Skipper's friend Tiff's name for this one, so this is Tiff and that's Fluff. And cute. So she's wearing this 1973 Skipper quick curl dress. Again, it's shorter on her because she's taller, but I like that it doesn't go all the way down to her ankles. It keeps it from looking like a nightgown. A little bit taller. I don't have quick curl skipper. This just came in one of the cases that I bought. So those are all the skippers that I have. She has a boyfriend again too. I don't know if they're dating or if he's just friends with them, but they have this male friend here. He has the same articulation as the girls. His legs don't go out as far because his joints are weaker or like more angular, but he has the same shoulder and arm articulation. And he's got these heads that they've been making for a few years where they have like a cut into the neck and then it drops down so that they can have a swivel head. His head is kind of messed up though, it seems. Let me get him focused so you can actually see him. Come on, buddy, work with me here. Okay. So the obvious choice to give him a name, because he didn't come with one, is Kevin. So this is, in my opinion, he's Kevin. I think I saw somewhere for the 2019 set, this is 2018 kid, there was a friend with a different face who looked Latino. But I haven't gone back and found that yet. There's only so many hours and so many days to do all the research, and every time I go back it's been like 6 months to a year and they've released like 800 more stuff. So this is the babysitters set, and they some of the sets have the little 4-inch toddler dolls that use the 1995 Kelly body, and then they have just like molded heads with no like rooted hair. They're just all plastic. And some of them have little babies. And then there's like single sets with the babies too. And there's more, I think there's at least one other male friend. But I don't know what he looks like yet, and I don't have one. But I hurried to snatch these up when they came out, because I was still working at my job then. And I was able to, I guess starting in 2019, they started diversifying the Stacy line in the same way. So now they have a little guy that's kind of similar to this for Stacy, and Stacy, for the first time, has an Asian friend. And for the first time since, I guess, around 2005, Stacy has a brunette friend and a black friend again. So they've done that with the intermediate size dolls. They've been churning out the Chelsea dolls. So they've had diversity for a while. But they're making more boy dolls in the Chelsea line. They really didn't for a long time. So look at these guys again. Babysitters. There. So that's what's going on with Skipper. And I have a lot more Skippers that I didn't bring out. I have like 6 or 7 of... Wait, no. I have a lot of the 87 ones now. Because I bought a couple. And then I was given some. And I still had the Sun Sensation Skipper. So I got 1, 2... It's like 6, 7, 8. At least 8. At least 8 of these guys. Alright, I think that's it. Yeah, so I'm missing a bend leg. Ooh, it's not in terms of the face though, it's in terms of the body. I'm missing the bend leg Skipper like this. I'm missing some from the 80s too, because the 80s ones look different. I'd like to have a Malibu Skipper with the twist waist. So I don't have a straight body bend leg. I don't have the twist waist Skipper in the original size. I don't have the live action one. I don't have Fluff or Tiff or the Super Teen dolls. I've never had a 90s Kevin, but I want one, even though I had a doll with his body. I'm I'm missing black skippers from the 90s. I don't have the teen skipper like this really anymore. I had a Florida beach skipper that was really nice. She had like white blonde hair, an orange suit, and black eyebrows, and she was awesome. But I just, I don't know, I didn't like her for a while. So, yeah, I'm missing a few pieces, but I've got, I would say that in terms of like faces and bodies, my skipper collection is more complete than my other collections. I'll put it that way. Alright, so, oh my goodness. Looks like something exploded on my desk. There we go. Let me have these guys hold this. If you'd like to see more adventures with plastic crack, let me try to come out here and just hold the camera up. There we go. Nope. Even worse. That's worse. If I knew what I was doing, I'd be dangerous. Okay, if you'd like to see more adventures with plastic crack and not have it get messed up by the fan. There. This isn't working. I gotta fix this. Come on. Okay. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. You can, if you want to see more doll content like this, more adventures with plastic crack, I have a playlist in my channel. So you can subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and then, you know, come back periodically of a Friday and see. Most of the time, Adventures with Plastic Crack is weekly, but the day that it drops is scheduled to be Friday. And I don't know why I'm blanking. I have a doll customization folder in my DeviantArt gallery. I've got merch and prints, actual art items, coloring books, dark poetry book, social media, email contact. Everything's through the link tree, linktr.ee/CATtheMinion. If you'd like to help keep my channel chunking along, if you enjoyed this content or you want to help fund future research projects, gaps in the series there, you can donate energy exchange to that tip jar, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. I do have 2 doll items on Etsy for sale, spare parts basically. I was gonna put my tubes of depth styling gel from Totally Hair Barbies on there. I've got 3.5. I say half because I have the tube, but it broke and is leaking, but the tube is still like displayable. So I should probably add those. Let me know if you're interested in the tubes of depth Barbie styling hair gel and a pamphlet from Totally Hair Barbie. And everything else over here. Alright, I'm rambling. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.